Olá, Nação Ranger, tudo bem com vocês? O mês de junho está cada vez mais próximo e com ele o quadrinho Power Rangers Unlimited Edge of Darkness, um quadrinho dedicado à origem do Ranger Fantasma que vai chegar no finalzinho do mês, no dia 30, como parte desse selo Unlimited que teve Herdeira da Escuridão, que foi o quadrinho da Astronema, e agora teremos um quadrinho dedicado ao Ranger Fantasma, personagem que apareceu pela primeira vez em 1997 na temporada Power Rangers Turbo. E para comentar um pouco mais sobre o lançamento desse quadrinho, nós batemos um papo com o escritor, o roteirista Frank Gogol, que vai contar um pouquinho pra gente como foi os bastidores do quadrinho e o que a gente pode esperar pela frente.
What's going on, Mega Power Brazil? I am Frank Gogol, writer of books like Dead End Kids, No Heroine, the Ringo Award-nominated short story collection Grief, the currently releasing Dead End Kids, The Suburban Job, and the upcoming Power Rangers Universe Edge of Darkness coming out from Boom Studios in June. I am super excited to be here. I'm going to answer a few questions for you guys and try and get you a little pumped up for Edge of Darkness.
Frank, muito obrigado por ter aceitado o convite. Estamos muito ansiosos para ler o quadrinho, tanto a galera do Mega Power quanto o Squad do Poder. Mas conta pra gente como foi esse contato com a Boom Studios, como começou a ideia para sair o quadrinho do Ranger Fantasma.
That's kind of a long process. Building relationships with comic book editors is definitely it's a marathon, not a sprint. It takes a few years. Sometimes it takes more than that. In my case in particular, I started putting out comics about 5 years ago, and sort of really quickly I realized that I wanted to, in addition to making my own comics like Dead End Kids and No Heroine, I wanted to write for properties that I really love: Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Transformers, Beast Wars, and obviously Power Rangers. So I started reaching out to the editors on those books, including Daphne Plevin and Gwen Waller, who are the editors on Power Rangers. I made it a point to get in touch with them. I made it a point to seek them out at comic book conventions whenever our paths would cross, and just to kind of slowly build that relationship. You know, it's one of those things where the opportunity has to come along, right? There are only so many people who get to write the book, and there are only so many opportunities who get to write a Power Rangers story. And I was just one of the lucky ones. Back in November, Daphne reached out to me after we had talked a few times over the years and asked if I was interested in writing a Phantom Ranger story. So it wasn't a situation where they were kind of testing me out against other writers for the job. They had a book in mind that they wanted to write, or wanted written for them rather, and they reached out to me because we had that relationship that was building, and it seemed like a good fit, I guess.
Com certeza uma grande trajetória e muita gente pode se inspirar através dos passos do Frank, e na descrição desse vídeo, gente, vai estar o link com as outras publicações dele para vocês conhecerem depois que terminar o vídeo. A outra pergunta é: como está ou como foi seu contato com a franquia Power Rangers até os dias atuais?
My relationship with Power Rangers goes back to the very beginning of Power Rangers. I was born in the late 80s, so I was a kid in the early 90s, and I'm pretty sure that I watched Power Rangers, the first episode, the pilot, when it premiered in 1993. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that I've been watching since day one, or very close to day one. Over the years, I've kept up with the various series. I think when I was a kid in the 90s and the early 2000s, I probably watched up through Lost Galaxy consistently, and then over the years sort of came back from time to time to catch up on Time Force and Jungle Fury and RPM and all the other series all the way up through Dino Fury. And then when the Boom Comics started releasing in 2016, it kind of expanded and reinvigorated my sort of passion for the franchise, and I went through and I rewatched all of it again to kind of get me, you know, up to speed and in the know for what they were doing with the comics. So I'm, you know, more or less a lifelong fan. I am a super fan at this point. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see over my shoulder over there, we've got some of the Lightning Collection figures. Behind me, we've got a Zeo Megazord and an 8-inch Phantom Ranger. Right up over my head on the wall back there, we've got Sentai number 2, which is the first comic book appearance of the Power Rangers. So I'm definitely a junkie. I love Power Rangers, and I'm really excited to be able to be part of this Phantom Ranger story, Edge of Darkness, and leave my mark as a fan on this franchise that I love so much.
Pelo visto, os quadrinhos da Boom Studios estão em boas mãos com o Frank. Olha só, o cara é fanzaço de Power Rangers e vou colocar aqui na tela a coleção atualizada dele que ele mandou pra gente depois que a entrevista saiu. A outra pergunta, Frank, é a seguinte: para fazer o quadrinho do Ranger Fantasma, você teve que fazer uma pesquisa sobre o Ranger ou você já conhecia bastante sobre o personagem?
I think I answered this a little bit on my last answer. But yes, I watched Power Rangers as a kid. I watched Turbo when it was on air, and In Space when it was on air as well, for all 10 episodes that Phantom Ranger was in. I remember liking Phantom Ranger quite a bit. I liked the mystery aspect of who he was, or who she was, or who they were. I love that you know, we got a sort of, for the first time, I think, a non-traditional 6th Ranger, because previous to that we had Tommy as the 6th Ranger as the Green Mighty Morphin and the White Tiger Ranger, and then after that we had Jason as the Zeo Gold Ranger, 6th Ranger, and then when we got to Turbo we got more of an ally than a 6th Ranger, and that was kind of a cool change that I remember liking quite a bit. So yeah, I'm very familiar with Phantom Ranger, especially now that I believe I'm the first person to write him in the comics for more than a couple of panels or a couple of pages. I might go so far as to say that I am the expert in the Phantom Ranger on the planet Earth right now. I know the most about who they are, who they might be. Yeah, so that, yes, I like Phantom Ranger quite a bit.
Acho que depois dessa resposta, a gente pode bater o martelo que o Frank é um grande especialista no Ranger Fantasma. E já aproveitando esse gancho para perguntar a próxima pergunta, que é a seguinte: a gente sabe que o Ranger Fantasma ele apareceu originalmente em Power Rangers Turbo. Como foi trazer o personagem para outro período de tempo trabalhando nos quadrinhos?
This is a good question. It's probably one that's a little hard to answer without getting too spoilery. I don't want to confirm anything about the story or deny anything about the story, just so you guys aren't spoiled. I will say that writing the Phantom Ranger at all has been very cool. He, she, they are one of the most interesting and underdeveloped characters from the lore, and that was really cool to be a part of fleshing out that sort of underdeveloped space. The story we're telling is really cool, and it's hopefully just the start of Phantom Ranger's story. There's a lot to tell, and we're going to throw a lot at you guys in those 40 pages in the one shot very quickly. Some of it'll be pretty straightforward, some of it'll be kind of hinting at things to come, and you know, hopefully we're adding a lot of really cool stuff to the Phantom Rangers mythos to pick up and play with down the line. I know I definitely have ideas for more Phantom Ranger stories. If this book does really well and sells really well and Boom wants to do more and they ask me to be a part of it, I have probably years worth of ideas. So that's been very cool. I'd say the most difficult part was kind of coming into a character who, like I said, is underdeveloped but has a lot of fan theories. You know, there are all the fan theories. Is the Phantom Ranger Justin's dad? Is he the sort of American equivalent of the Sentai counterpart, who's, you know, the spirit of all the fallen Rangers? Is he Billy? These are all things that you know, people might be attached to or might want to be the truth, and maybe aren't the story we're telling, or maybe are. It's hard to tell a story that's got so much speculation and weight beyond it. But I think what we have and what we're gonna do in this one shot is really gonna set up Phantom Ranger for, like I said, years of stories, but also as something even bigger than what people are expecting, in a very good way. I don't want to say too much more than that, you know, again, so I don't spoil anything for anyone.
Vocês viram, né? Muitas teorias podem sair depois dessa resposta do Frank. Inclusive, na semana passada, a Ana comentou lá no Twitter que ela tem uma teoria sobre o Ranger Fantasma. Vou abrir um breve parêntese aqui, que ela acha que o Ranger Fantasma, na verdade, é um cargo onde outras pessoas podem assumir outros Rangers, ou seja, o Ranger Fantasma que a gente viu em Turbo pode não ser o mesmo que a gente vai ver no quadrinho Edge of Darkness, mas por enquanto é só o campo das teorias. Eu acredito que a reviravolta desse quadrinho vai ser muito boa. E Frank, falando em outros personagens em outra parte da franquia, você tem interesse em escrever outra história envolvendo outro personagem? Qual e por quê?
I don't know if I could pick one. I love so many of the characters. There are some really obvious choices. I'd love to write Jen Scott's Time Force Pink. I'd love to do something with the Jungle Fury Rangers, with the RPM Rangers. I think they're both really great teams with really great characters. I'd love to be a part of bringing the Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers into the Boom comics. Aquatar and the Equations are great characters who, like the Phantom Ranger, didn't get a ton of screen time and weren't really developed, and I feel like there's a lot of space story-wise to really do a lot with them because there's so little about them from the show. I would love to also add some new creations. I think that the Power Rangers universe is awesome, and it's got all these great concepts, and I feel like there's tons of room to grow and do even bigger things. Comics is such a cool medium because it's not bound by things like budget, like a movie. You know, it's as big as the imagination can get. So I have so many ideas. Right now I'm just trying to focus on this opportunity, this Phantom Ranger one shot. It's going to be a really good book, and I'm excited for people to get to check it out. And if you guys like it and Boom, decides that it was a success, which I hope it will be, hopefully I'll get an opportunity to do some more.
Com certeza Edge of Darkness vai fazer muito sucesso. Aqui no Mega Power Brasil a gente vai fazer um barulho, vai divulgar o quadrinho para você voltar a escrever para a Boom Studios. Inclusive queremos um quadrinho dos Alien Rangers. Deixa aqui nos comentários se você que está do outro lado também quer um quadrinho com os Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers. Mas então, Frank, o que a gente pode esperar de Edge of Darkness no final do mês de junho?
I think I would rephrase the question to be what won't fans expect? And that was kind of one of the things that I kept in mind when we were developing this, from the pitch stage to the script writing to the art, is what can we do with this character who's got all this fan theory around him, she, they, her, and do something that is unexpected. What's a way to be additive? What can we bring to the table to make this character even more interesting? And I think what we've been able to do is, again, like I'm just going to keep coming back to this phrase, is we've set Phantom Ranger up for potentially years of story. It's only 40 pages of story, but so much happens, and there's so many little hints, and so much cool potential there. So what can you expect from Edge of Darkness? I think you can expect an awesome story. I think it's a really good character piece. The art from Simone and Igor on colors it's just incredible. And I think that this, in addition to Heir to Darkness, the one shot with Astronema, is kind of doing a lot to set up the Rangers universe and the tone for this unlimited power era, as we're calling it, in a really good way. And I think that this is going to be the most exciting kind of period in the Boom Comics time that, for lack of a better word, since Boom has launched the comics, this will be the most interesting storytelling part, because we're going to start dipping into things that previously haven't been touched on, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So expect to be excited, expect to be kind of surprised, and expect to hopefully want more.
Cara, muito obrigado mais uma vez por ter aceitado o convite. Depois desse bate-papo, não tem como não entrar no trem do hype do quadrinho do Ranger Fantasma, e fica o espaço para você deixar uma mensagem para os fãs brasileiros e indicar seus outros trabalhos.
So I just wanted to say thanks for having me. I know that Brazil in particular has a very, very, very vibrant and passionate Power Rangers fan base. So I was super excited to talk to you guys a little bit about this project. We're still a few months away from June, but if you're interested in checking out some of my stuff in the meantime, most of my work's already available in collected trade paperback editions. Dead End Kids, Grief, No Heroine. The new Dead End Kids series is wrapping up next month and should be up for pre-order as a trade I think it actually releases on the same day as Edge of Darkness. So you know, if you're interested in my writing or learning more about the kinds of stories I tell, there's a lot of opportunities to do that. You know, just keep your eyes peeled. There's some really exciting stuff coming down the line. I have a Power Rangers adjacent type project getting announced later this year. So if you like Edge of Darkness or my other writing, that could be really exciting for you. But I just want to say again, thanks, you know, for the huge support. The reaction to Edge of Darkness has been way bigger than I ever thought. And I'm really excited for you guys to check it out. So June 30th can't come fast enough.
E você que está do outro lado, está animado para Power Rangers Unlimited Edge of Darkness? Deixa aqui na seção de comentários com a hashtag Squad do Poder. Quem que você acha que é o Ranger Fantasma? Comenta aqui, aí no final do mês de junho a gente vai ver se alguém acertou aqui nos comentários do Mega Power Brasil. Não esquece também, é claro, de seguir a gente nas redes sociais, principalmente o Twitter, twitter.com/megapowerbrasil, e conhecer o nosso projeto de financiamento coletivo que é o Apoia-se, onde você que está do outro lado pode ajudar com um pouquinho ou um poucão a transformar nosso centro de comando virtual em um centro de comando físico, com mais conteúdo, com mais podcast, com muito mais vídeo. Vem fazer parte do seleto grupo de heróis onde o Bruno, Vinícius Guedes, Luiz Henrique e Rafael Augusto fazem parte. É isso, galera, nos vemos muito em breve e que o poder o proteja.